What's going on, guys? Apathetic here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on competitive and Shadowkeep. So we will cover what's different, what I like and don't like about its current state, and lastly discuss if I think you should be jumping in to competitive this season. Let's get into it. So in Shadowkeep, competitive and glory now works a little differently. So how it works now is skill rating, which takes into account kills, damage dealt, etc., are tied into your glory rank. So meaning if your skill rating is legend, for example, then your glory gains will be much higher initially until you get closer to that glory rank. As you get closer, the amount of glory points you get will normalize. It's also important to point out that during this climb, to get your glory and skill to match, the amount of glory you lose will also be limited. For example, one game I lost, I think, about 6 points, which means the game is trying to push me out of that glory rank into a higher one that's closer to my skill rating. Now, the other thing that's changed in comp is it no longer 4v4 and has instead switched to 3v3 survival, which is awesome. And you now have a solo or freelance playlist for competitive on top of your standard survival playlist where you can queue up with your friends. Getting into what I like about competitive so far is how fast you can rank up, and obviously based on your skill rating, your mileage may vary here. But guys, I played about an hour or so and I hit 2100, no problem. It was very refreshing to feel this increased amount of progression combined with a less punishing feel when you lose. Because I stated earlier, I only lost around 6 points in my earlier matches, and when you lose, instead of losing your whole streak, you only lose one portion of it. So instead of being on a 5 streak and dropping to 0, I dropped to 4, and I really like this a lot. It kept me from feeling super salty when you lose because of a bad teammate, since I knew I wouldn't lose my whole streak, and this made competitive a lot more enjoyable. The next thing I really like is the fact that it's 3v3. Man, guys, I was not expecting the change to 3v3 to make such a huge impact on how much I enjoyed competitive. But man, it's a game changer. With 3v3, your ability to contribute to your team feels much more significant. There are games where I literally had potatoes on my team, and because of the fact that it was 3v3, I was able to carry much more efficiently, and it limited how negatively my teammates could impact the game. 3v3 also brings a nice return to hero moments in the Crucible. A hero moment is when you're looking at a 1v2 or a 1v3, and you're able to clutch around via some sick plays. This was something that was poorly missing from comp previously, because if you killed 3, there would still always be that last guy to finish you off, and it just made having those hero moments so much harder. I have to also say, with 3v3, the general flow of the game feels a lot better. It's not quicker per se, but it just seems a lot less chaotic, and combine that with the nerf to supers, and you'll find yourself getting into a lot more gunfights versus just playing for your super. And lastly, guys, my favorite thing about comp is the ability to solo queue. For all my guys that would come into the comments, Appa, I only play by myself. Hey, no longer do you have to play by you. No longer do you have to wait for your friends or look for friends. It's okay to play by yourself now. You don't have to wait to set up times of play. You can simply jump into the freelance playlist without the fear of getting some stacked teams and work towards your glory rank all by yourself. Such an awesome change, and this change is going to have me jumping into comp a lot more this season. Now, a couple of things I'm not really a fan of is the fact that it's survival. Because it's survival, some games can become suddenly very slow as everyone starts playing their life and playing super passive. This, in my opinion, really impacts the overall flow of the game, because in earlier rounds things are fast, you're getting to a lot of gunfights and everybody's playing a little bit looser, and then you get in those later rounds and everything slows down drastically. Now, it's not the worst, but I still prefer this over, and I still prefer this over Countdown any day. But if I had a choice, I would prefer Clash to keep the pace of the game up. The second thing I'm not a big fan of is heavy spawning every round. I feel it should be like D1 trials, where you have one heavy round, then you're done. Having heavy every round as often as you do, it creates a scenario where the entire game can take place around heavy. So everyone is basically just playing for a pick and heavy control. And yes, heavy does have less ammo, but I would have it either limited to 1 round as I stated, or removed completely, because I feel like it can just have that same flow disrupting impact on the game. Wrapping up my thoughts, if you guys have been staying away from comp or been trying season after season to get previous pinnacle weapons, this is the season to do it. Ranking up is faster than ever, and finally, for all my solo players, you have a playlist that you can dive into and lone wolf your way all the way to legend, and it's super doable this season. Previously, I've said I would never recommend solo queuing, and it's nice to say it's an option that's finally viable for any tier of player. So guys, needless to say, I'm super happy with comp as a whole, as it feels different, it feels fun and rewarding. But let me know your thoughts on comp and what you would change and what you love. With that, thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe, as it's a free way to support me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.